Welcome to another loan guide from VALoanRater.com. Today we will be covering the basics of the VA refinance programs and how they can help military borrowers save money. My name is James Shergill, licensed government loan specialist with Flagship Financial Group. And while the goal today is to give you a brief but comprehensive overview of the VA refinance programs, please don't hesitate to call 877-MY-VA-HUB if you have any questions about how these programs can help you. So when I talk about myths, I'm certainly not talking about the Loch Ness Monster. I'm not talking about Bigfoot. I'm talking about the kinds of theories that I hear about when and how to refinance your loan. Bear in mind, when I talk about what it is that people generally think about refinancing, this isn't an indictment of what it is that they are saying, because in large part, I think most myths tend to hold true because there's an element of truth in them. In this case, I think that it's the difference between taking something that is generally true and distinguishing it between something that is always true. So let's start with the first myth that I almost always hear, and that is, it doesn't make sense to refinance unless my rate is going down at least 1%. The second most common myth that I hear is that paying points on a loan is a mistake. I never pay points for a loan, and I never will. Well, if I were to tell you that in actual fact, these aren't always true, and in some cases, believing these can actually prevent you from getting a loan or doing a refinance that could save you quite a bit of money, I think the response that I would get from most people would be one of extreme skepticism. But I'm going to attempt to do that right now. But before we tackle the myth, let's look at some of the facts. So, first of all, what is a discount point? A discount point is neither good nor bad. All a discount point is, it's a unit of prepaid interest exchanged for a lower rate. The lower the rate you get, the greater the monthly savings. So, therefore, if you maximize the amount of discount points you're rolling into your loan, you're going to get the lowest rate and save the most amount of money per month. Now, the way it works is, on any given day, we get a rate sheet with a spectrum of rates that range from, let's say, as low as 4.5% to as high as 6.5%. Just the lower the interest rate you want, as I said, the more points you have to pay to get that rate. Conceivably, though, if you get a higher rate at the higher end of that spectrum, you can have fewer closing costs, or in some cases, no closing costs at all. Whether or not you choose to pay closing costs or pay points to get that rate depends entirely on how long you think you can be living in the home, and really on a concept called break-even, which I'll tackle here in just a moment. The other thing that I want people to consider is that when you look at a refinance, you got to look at the net effect of the refinance, not just the monthly savings that you'll get from the loan. When I say net effect, I mean look at the closing costs associated with the loan, look at how much you're saving, and look at what larger impact saving that money, what that will mean to your overall finances. For example, deferring a payment and getting an escrow refund on a VA refinance may allow you to actually use that money to pay down higher interest rate debt like a credit card, which could free up even more money than you're saving just on the refinance alone. Before we tackle that, though, let's look at the break-even. The cost of the loan divided by the monthly savings on the loan equal the number of months it will take you to cover the cost of the loan. And that will tell you how long you have to live in the home in order to start experiencing a profit on your investment. Let's look at a scenario to bring this all home. So we've got a guy who's got a $115,000 loan that he got a few years back at a 6.5%. The current balance is down at around $100,000 with a current payment of $1,000 a month. He says he might move in 5 years, but he does not want an adjustable rate. I put together a refinance for him at 6% with no closing costs. Now, if he was holding true to the rule that you don't refinance unless you move down a full percentage point, he might look at this on its face value and say, you know what, I don't want this loan. I'm not moving down a full percentage point. It's only a half point. Why would I do it? Well, let's look at it. Even with only a 0.5% rate decrease, this would immediately save $100 a month and $1,200 a year with no costs. Now, even if you save $5, isn't it worth it to do something if it doesn't cost you anything? If it doesn't cost you something, the question shouldn't be, why would I do it? The question should be, why not? Why wouldn't you do it? Let's look at a second scenario. Same situation, the guy's got a $115,000 loan that started at 6.5%. He's got a current balance of $100,000 and a current payment of $1,000 a month. He's not planning to move for 10 years, and I put together a scenario for him where I refinance him to 4.5% with $5,000 in closing costs, which includes 2 discount points. If he was following myth number 2 and saying, well, I don't do a loan where I pay points, well, he would miss out on some pretty significant savings. This borrower is going to save $200 a month. Now, even though it costs him $5,000, if you follow our break-even analysis formula and you take this $5,000 here and divide it by the $200 a month that he's saving, that's 25 months. Or in other words, after 25 months of saving $200 a month, the savings on this loan will have paid for the cost of the loan, and every month after that he'll be saving $200 a month. Well, since he told me up front that he's not planning to move for at least 10 years, then if I take 10 years and subtract out the 25 months it takes for him to break even, he's going to save $19,000 over the remaining time in the loan. Again, the question isn't why would he do this? Instead, the question is why not? So I hope that looking at these two scenarios have provided a meaningful rebuttal to these common myths. Even if you're at a lower rate and you don't think you might be helped by a refinance, you don't think you can move down a full percentage point, there still might be a very distinct possibility that you could save quite a bit of money. Want to know more? To discuss a scenario based on your data, or just to clarify any questions you might have about VA loans, please call the VA loan team at Flagship Financial Group, toll free at 877-MY-VA-HUB, or shoot us an email at jshergill@ffgpartners.com. As a specialist in VA loans, Flagship Financial Group has earned wide acclaim, including an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau with loan consultants who annually rank first in the nation for VA loan origination. Until next time, this is James Shergill for VALoanRater.com, proudly serving your peace of mind.